Hey everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we got some hot takes on the new rank system. If you're expecting a video bashing the system, well, this is really not the type of video. The goal of this video is to have a level-headed discussion on what is good, but also poke holes on the current problems and provide some possible solutions. Now, your comment on this video is very important as your solution could definitely be better than mine, but feedback is important. Saying something is bad is not really feedback. Giving a logical statement and a solution is. We all logically know when something does not work, which is why you're watching this video, and I trust you as a viewer. Who knows, perhaps a comment if any dev is watching this video could see something from a new perspective. Now we're going to give some hot takes, but I'm going to back it up with as much logic as possible. Because remember, I have suggestions, but it doesn't mean it's the only suggestion. So here's the first hot take. I do believe for the most part that any rank system can work, but it has to be in alignment with both the developing team and the community. So while we can say that the older system is quote-unquote better, or pull from past examples, in this video we're going to be focusing on how the current system could, well, in theory, work. So let us start with at least some good things that I have personally seen. Keep in mind your experience is going to vary. First topic, less cheaters. I don't know about all of you, but from prior season, especially last season and a split, was absolutely brutal with cheaters. I have to say overall this season I've yet to see them in ranked, honestly. If they are, then it must be pretty bad. I have seen them more in pubs. Perhaps it's because they're trying to level accounts. Whatever the system is in place, it seems to be working better. Maybe because it's more placement based, they're not going for as many fights. Matches feel more fair, and I notice less aimbots or wall hacks. Now, this is always hard to tell if someone is cheating, and I can just honestly say something feels different this season. Now on to the next topic, less Smurfs. Because of the MMR system, I tested this when coaching somebody. Because my main account is Masters, it can be hard to coach somebody in the game and really teach them how to play ranked. I hopped onto an alt account and within one round it placed me within master lobbies with my teammate. I think this is a really positive change. I know people have alternate accounts, and I have used mine openly and mentioned them many times of why I have them for educational purposes. Anyone who purposely farms for content, for views, and puts a crazy title saying, I did insane damage, and they just flex how many eliminations they got is very weird. And you should not support the type of content. One issue though is playing with a friend who is lower tier, but without a game played, I noticed the MMR is pretty solid at balancing and realizing that you don't belong in lower tier lobbies. I hope it remains this way. No way should a Smurf be able to farm low tier lobbies. I get there'll always be a way to break these systems, but I hope those individuals do get banned or have their accounts removed or whatever. For those that are out there teaching a new player or friend, I can 100% understand this scenario. It's always a tricky situation because if you have played the game for thousands of hours and you're getting somebody brand new into the game, well, what happens? And the background footage that you're seeing in the whole video today is whenever I was helping a friend get back into the game called Fireborn. He produces content in Call of Duty, moving over to Apex Legends. Definitely got to check out his channel. I'll have it in the link description down below. But it's definitely a change of pace going from one game to another, despite how many hours you may have in FPS games. It can be very tricky. But definitely, it put us in a Diamond Plus lobbies right off the bat, which it should. Now, MMR balancing. This one's really tricky, and I try to blend it into a move of criticism and feedback. I know lots of individuals are upset about being in Predator lobbies. But one major thing I constantly mention in all my videos about the rank system is that this system needs a lot of data on how players play and how they should realistically be placed. It's not going to get it right the first week. It's not going to get it right the second week. I just think it's going to take a whole season before this even gets put into place. This means that based on the system, you may be placed higher or lower than intended. Any system that requires data to succeed is just going to take a lot of time. For the most part, I feel like I'm seeing individuals shift and more end zones are occurring than prior seasons. Sometimes rounds in the past would end up top 7 and before the zone even closed, which is not good. I mean, if that happened now, we're just gifted free points. I feel like MMR balancing is 100% the way to go. That's my own personal take. It fixes the above prior issues, but also places players in lobbies they should be playing in. Now let us segue to the feedback, because we have a ratting problem / 0 damage to Masters or Pred. With the emphasis on placement, we have seen the infamous way to get Master or Pred with doing no damage, hiding, ratting. That's what ratting is, essentially hiding and just hoping you get points. This is hard to counter because everyone right now cares more about the rank and the end reward than the actual reward of playing and doing better. I think we can all agree in this video, everybody's watching, that ratting is not skillful. Seeing somebody find their way through a lobby and holding positioning is. My theory is that individuals get bored of this way of playing, and over time, people aren't just going to want to do it anymore. It's like a trend or a fad at the moment. At some point, people are going to actually want to go back to play the game, I pray, otherwise they're not going to be playing at all. As we see teams more aware of how to manage a lobby and play, this can also solve the problem. Now the next discussion is where the wall is now, aka Masters being too easy because that's currently where the wall hits. Let's discuss another problem that arises overall. It's just that wall. I hate to repeat it, but the wall. meaning where do players all get stuck at a certain skill level. In the current screenshot, we can see from Platinum all the way to Masters is around 11.7% of the total player base. Now, about a week and a half ago, this was around only 2%. Within about a week and a half, a lot of movement has occurred. This is across all regions of the world, keep in mind. This is updating and moving consistently. Current Masters on PC is 74,956, which in reality out of the whole player base is still only 2.4% of the player base. The wall was insane with about 157,000 total Masters players, well plus, back in Season 12 Split 1 with about 6.2% of the player base. Now the problem is sometimes players once they hit the max rank stop at Masters or their desired rank. This means that silvers or golds based on their queue time can end up in higher tier lobbies because of how active the upper tier is. If they're not playing whatsoever, what do you think those higher tier players are going to end up in? Well, probably a tier lobby below, just because their queue times may be taking too long. Now let's talk about some solutions. Well, one is introducing decay once you hit a higher rank, meaning if you don't play a certain amount of games or win, you lose a lot of points. This helps maintain the higher players consistently fighting for their spot, meaning Masters has a lot of emphasis on skill, which can lead to frustration as you have to introduce more hours into the game. But why did they not introduce this to begin with? My tinfoil hat theory is that it probably would have frustrated the player base, and perhaps they needed to see, realistically, where the wall would hit. I think if players hit a really hard wall and it's not Masters, they're always going to be upset because they want to get to that next level. But if they can't and it's not easily explained, what's going to happen is that they get frustrated. Another solution would be to force a higher entry cost as you scale past Diamond to make the wall move from Master rank to perhaps Diamond. The problem is that this 100% can stop players from playing once they hit Masters because the incentive is not there. Why would you risk going from Masters back down to Diamond, which is also creating the Smurf problem back that we saw in the past. Now, let's discuss the next topic, which is endless gains. With the easier system, there's always half the lobby that's going to gain points. The positive is that this creates a feeling of wanting to go back in, hits that dopamine, because at least you're never dropping or going negative. But let's discuss the opposite spectrum, where somebody decides to quote-unquote no-life the game, in which you can gain endlessly. How do you stop in which has no life? You really can't stop it. This segues to another potential solution, maybe similar to League of Legends, and may stop teams from steamrolling lobbies or those who try to no life, burning themselves out to play when they're at their peak. If a Pred team loses to a gold squad, then they lose substantial points. This will have them respect more of the lobby and maybe not take as many risks because they're unsure on the players that they're facing off against. Now let's say we spun this, vice versa. A gold team beats a Pred team. The downside of this is when they're pro players or streamers that they could get stream sniped and they're just going to be targets for easy points. I do feel very confident in me saying this as a hot take, but I do feel major losses on a Pred team versus a silver team. If they lost to the silver team, minus 400 could be justifiable, just in case to get into a lower tier lobby, if they are quote-unquote no-lifing the game. I do feel most of the community should be placed around Platinum or Diamond to create a healthy arc, and attempted to be a higher rank. If someone gets to a higher rank, I personally think confusion will occur on balancing the lobby. Someone may think their lobby is full of Masters. But what does a Master level player mean? The definition changes as the rank split changes. Is it a top 1% player or is it a top 6% player? These both have dramatic differences in terms of skill level. This does not take away from anybody achieving a rank. You should definitely celebrate whenever you achieve a new rank, but I think it's important we look to define what makes a certain player good or maybe have room for improvement for educational reasons. Let's ask the questions, what skills does a Platinum player have? Now we ask the comment section, what about a Diamond player? Then the expectation from a Masters player. I think the skill gap over the years on Apex Legends has really grown, but those trying to get into the game can look at these categories and say, what skill set is expected within this group? I think those looking at guides from a silver versus a diamond player have major different expectations, but of course we have to help define them as a community what those mean. And I think as we settle into a current rank system, the expectation can really help so people don't get frustrated in their lobbies and know what to expect from their teammates. I see a lot of potential as the system grows, but as I mentioned before, there are a lot of flaws. There is a lot of good that I'm seeing as well. Things that can be solved outside of solutions I definitely provided. Being one individual from this video, I hope it sparks a more positive and logical conversation, because maybe I'm biased, but I'm very confident Apex can have one of the best rank systems in any BR, and create a game that brings players back time and time again. Again, it's why I feel like you're watching this video. Again, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to comment. As we mentioned at the start of the video, your thoughts are very important because who knows? Maybe a developer may stumble across this video. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.